When you think about the Temptations, what stands out the most? I mean, besides the magnificent singing, the dance moves are arguably the best thing about the group. But when it comes to Paul Williams, he is the best dancer from the group. Real quick, before we get started, I would like to announce the winner of our giveaway. Congratulations. Go ahead and DM me your contact information. And if you miss our giveaway, we will be announcing another one when we reach 10,000 subscribers. Now, let's cue that intro. Born July 2nd, 1939 in Isley, Alabama, to Sophia and Rufus Williams. Now his father was a singer and member of the Isley Jubilee Singers. This was a gospel group. Sophia and Rufus, they would produce a big family that would go on to have 12 kids. Paul would meet his lifetime best friend in elementary school. It's funny how they met, as Paul, he was known to be a bully. He would dump a bucket of malt water on Eddie and they would start fighting. It's funny that after this would happen, these two would become the best of friends. Fun fact, they became closer when they both learned that they loved to sing. They even sang in the church choir together all the way up to their teenage years. They would get together with two other childhood friends, Kels Osborne and Willie Waller, forming the Cavaliers. The group would change their style as they would start to sing secular music. They wanted to make it big in the music industry, so they would hatch a plan to move to Cleveland, Ohio. Willie Waller would back out, but they wouldn't let anything stop them as they would move anyway and change their name to the Primes. Upon the arrival to Cleveland, the Primes would meet Milton Jenkins, a manager who would convince the group to move to Detroit with him because the opportunity was way better. The Primes would move to Detroit with Milton. Now, the group never recorded any songs, but they was a very successful group locally, as they would form an all-girl version called the Primettes, later to be known as the Supremes. Fun fact, the Primes first met The Distance at a house party thrown by Janet Poole. This was where the rivalry between the Primes and The Distance had started. In 1961, Kels Osborne, he would leave the group as they wasn't making much money by performing, and at the time they wasn't recording any songs. He would take his chances and move to California. This leaving the Primes disbanded, as Eddie, he would move back to Alabama but would still visit Paul every chance he got. One day while visiting Paul, they would catch wind that The Distance is in need of two members. So Eddie would call Otis, and Otis was very excited and started telling Eddie that he wanted him to be part of his group. Eddie, he would convince Otis that he would only join if they allowed Paul to join as well. Otis agreed, and the rest is history. Paul and Eddie would join Otis Williams, Melvin Franklin, and Al Bryan. They made the Elgins. In 1961, they would go on and sign to Motown, officially going by the name of The Temptations. Even though they had a record deal, they would start to see a lot of failure. Even though they recorded songs like Oh Mother of Mine and Check Yourself that all starred Paul as lead singer, these first songs was only local hits, as The Temptations had started to be known as the no-hit Temptations. Now, a fun fact, Al and Paul, they never got along. These two were some strong-headed brothers. At the end of 1963, at a Christmas concert hosted by Motown, Al and Paul, they would get into an altercation that had Paul spend one night in the hospital. Al, he would hit Paul in the head with a bottle that left a permanent scar by his eye. Otis made the decision to fire Al, kicking him out the group. They would bring in the new year and announce David Ruffin as a member of the group. Smokey Robinson became the head writer for the group, and he wrote the song, The Way You Do the Things You Do, that reached number 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. In the early years of the group, Paul, he would share a lead with Eddie Kendricks. Some songs Paul would sing lead on were songs like You're Running for Love in 1961, Slow Down Heart in 1962, I Want a Love I Can See, and Farewell My Love in 1963. Smokey Robinson would write a song just for David Ruffin. This song would turn out to be My Girl, that reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. With the success of this song, David, he will become the group's new lead singer. They will follow up with hits like Ain't Too Proud to Beg that reached number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, and I Know I'm Losing You that reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Paul, he began to feel overlooked. He would say, "Shit, I can sing too." He would follow his words with the song Don't Look Back. This song would reach number 14 on the R&B charts. Paul would sing lead in other songs like Just Another Lonely Night in 1965 and No More Water in a Well in 1967. Fun fact, Paul Williams was the group choreographer, and he was a supreme choreographer as well. He actually made a Stop in the Name of Love routine.
Who plans out the numbers?
Well, Paul mostly starts it off, and we take it from there.
Where's Paul? Paul, are you a professional dancer?
No.
Who taught you to move and dance?
Well, I wasn't taught. I guess it just come natural, you know.
Do these fellas contribute anything when you throw out the steps?
Oh, yes, yes. I don't know what I'd do without them.
Who goofs the most in the choreography department?
The fine ones.
Charlie Atkins became the choreographer for all of Motown acts. And what some people don't know is that this move removed him as the group choreographer, which made him depressed. His role with the group was small, and now his role with the company became small as well. In 1965, Paul, he would have an affair with Winnie Brown, the hairstylist of the Supremes and cousin of Florence Ballard. Paul, he was married to Mary Williams, who he had 5 kids with. What some people may not know is that Paul, he had sickle cells. This took a toll on his body and health. With him trying to keep up with the group touring and recording schedule, he would turn to the bottle for help with his pains. With the affair that he's having and trying to keep his private life private, this had caused him to hit the bottle even harder. Otis would say that he only saw Paul drink milk, so for him to go from drinking milk to 2 to 3/5 of Cavassier a day was hard to watch. In 1969, Paul, he would open up a celebrity fashion boutique with Winnie Brown. This was called the Celebrity House West. This business plan failed horribly as he owed more than $80,000 to the IRS. That's $557,000 in today's money. Paul's health started to get bad as he couldn't perform like he used to. The group would try everything, as Otis, he would hire Richard Street to sing all of Paul's lines off the stage. They would also try to help Paul by dumping out all his alcohol stashes and holding interventions. As Paul's health began to get worse, Richard Street would replace Paul on tour. In 1971, Paul went to the doctors and they found a spot on his liver that worried the doctor. Paul, he would step away from the group and they would replace Paul with Richard Street. But the group didn't want Paul to go out empty-handed, so they would pay Paul 1/5 of the group's royalties and kept him on payroll as a choreographer for 2 years. In 1973, Paul, he would try his hand at a solo career, and at this time Eddie Kendricks had quit the group. The Primes would partner up again as they would co-write Paul's song, Feel Like Giving Up. Motown decided not to release a single, but just later on that year, on August 17, 1973, Paul Williams was found dead inside his car in an alley. His death was ruled a suicide. He was only 34 years old. August 24th, his funeral was held, and all the members of the Temptations would come in his honor. Paul actually had 8 kids altogether, 5 with his wife and 3 with 3 other women. Although Paul's death was ruled a suicide, his family believed foul play was involved, as the autopsy report showed that Paul was shot on the left side of his head, but he used his right hand. Well, this can't be true. Paul, he wouldn't be able to shoot himself with his right hand because he is left-handed, and for him to get that shot off, he would have to be in an awkward position. Also, an alcohol bottle was found on his left side as if he dropped it while being shot. A gun was found near Paul too that had 2 shots fired from it, but only one had shot Paul. Otis would say that Paul expressed to him in blue suicidal thoughts months before his death, but Otis is the only one to say such a thing. So allegedly Paul, he was found in his underwear as if he was running away from someone. Also that night he had an argument with one of his girlfriends. Some other alleged thoughts is that the girlfriend house that Paul was at was Winnie Brown's house, and maybe her husband came home early. At the time, he owed so much money to the IRS. Who knows? It could have been a hit. Nobody knows. 1989, Paul was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Temptations. Paul's family would try to sue Motown, but they settled out of court in 1988. They would receive $96,000 in royalties for life. Paul and the Temptations could outdress, outsing, and outdance any group from their time period. Paul Williams will always be remembered as a musical force who created magic on stage. First, I would like to take a moment to thank all my patrons. A special thanks to Lakeisha Beavers and Jada Foster. If you too would like your name featured at the end of my videos, please stop over to Patreon to find out how. The link will be in the description below. Thanks to all of my subscribers for watching this video, and if you're not a subscriber, thank you as well. If you like what you see and would like to see more, hit that subscribe button. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.